Hi guys, so for today I decided to work on word problems since that's what's going to be your assignment for the day, and then it's also something that's for sure going to be on the test. So I am going to go over the DOK3 problem from the quick check. So remember, even though you don't have your quick checks back because of this school closure, you can get a copy of it, a blank copy on the website, and then there's also an answer key on the website. So the trick to these problems, and unfortunately, there is no like solid trick for every single problem. The general trick is just to break down every single piece of information and then see how we can make a picture out of that. The hardest part about these problems is making that picture because what I noticed in the quick checks when I was grading them, a lot of you had good ideas, but the setup was wrong. It was just like a slight error that made the situation different. Okay, so it's okay. It's fair because these problems are DOK3. So let me guide you through one, and then hopefully that could be of use. So let's go through this right here. So Albert is in the parking lot at the Red Hills Shopping Center. He determines the angle of elevation from a point on the ground to the top of the hill is 25 degrees. From another point in the parking lot closer to the hill, the angle of elevation to the top of the hill is 55 degrees. The distance between these 2 points is 740 feet. How high is the red hill? And then it says, be sure to draw a diagram with the information, blah, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so first time I read these through, I always like to just read it so I have an idea. So I know there's somebody waiting on a parking lot, they see a hill, and they're trying to figure out the height. Let me scoot this up so I can start drawing over here. So let me underline a couple things that's important. So Albert is in the parking lot. This is just setting up the situation. Now, he determines the angle of elevation. So first of all, angle of elevation, that means he's looking up because of elevation. So he's like facing up. If this is the guy, he's facing up. From a point on the ground to the top of the hill, so point on the ground to the top of the hill is 25 degrees. So, I was going to start drawing the picture, but let me hold off on that. Let me underline everything. Let me just switch colors because that's the first sentence. Now, from another point on the parking lot closer to the hill. So, here, right here, another point on the parking lot closer to the hill. So now here's where a lot of people messed up. Notice it says closer to the hill. It doesn't say like on the other side of the hill. So the angle of elevation, so we're still talking about elevation. So the guy's here, he's still looking up. But again, notice it says another point on the parking lot closer to the hill. So the top of the hill is 55 degrees. The distance between these 2 points is 740 feet. So let me use like blue for that. So the distance between these 2 points, so between the 2 points, it's 740 feet. And I'm trying to find out how high is the red hill. So as I start drawing this, let me start with the green one over here. So he determines the angle of elevation from a point on the ground to the top of the hill is 25 degrees. So here's, I usually like to use pencil to set up a very basic idea of what's going on. So here's, what's his name? Albert. He's in the parking lot and he sees a hill at the end of the parking lot. He's wondering how tall this thing is. So let me draw a line straight down because when we're trying to figure out height, that's how we figure it out. It's just going straight down. So trying to figure out how tall it is. And then I'm trying to figure out from this point, boom, 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 all the way over here. And then I'll just make like this triangle over here, dot, 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 way over here to the top of the hill. Okay, so when we're measuring height, you can actually go ahead and call this a right triangle because we can assume this is standing tall. So he mentions that from the point on the ground, the angle of elevation, so again, it's elevation because he's looking up, it's 25 degrees. Okay, it tells us right here. Now, the second part, and let me use the the red pen for this. From another point in the parking lot closer to the hill. So this means that this person started walking and walking this way, and then from another point closer to the hill. So again, they don't tell us on the other side of the hill, so I still have to be on this side. So he's over here now somewhere, well, on top of the ground. I'm just drawing where he is. So let me say he's at this point. From another point closer to the hill, the angle of elevation, so he's still looking up. Let me draw actually a solid line this time, is 55 degrees. So this right here is 55 degrees. So notice now I came up with another triangle, this red one over here, which still uses this part, but now it's from another point right over here. And now the distance between these 2 points is 740 feet, so let me draw that in the blue. So this was the first point over here, second point, so he walked what was it? 740 feet. So this space right here, it's 740 feet. And I'm trying to figure out how high is the red hill. So let me call this H for height. I'll put like a question mark here because that's what I'm trying to figure out. So this goes back to one of the problems that I covered with you guys before in another video. So I have to look at this picture right here and wonder, what am I going to use? Notice I technically have three triangles, that I can work with. I can work with this triangle right here, the first triangle that I drew in the black, or actually this point, and this point. It took me a second, I'm sorry. So the big triangle right over here, the smaller triangle here, or this triangle from the first point to the second point, and then to the top of the hill. So let me make this line over here so you guys can see it better. So I can talk about this triangle going from over here, the red triangle starting from the second point over here, or the big triangle all the way around. So I'm trying to figure this out. So I'm probably going to use the big triangle or the small triangle. But if I focus on this small triangle, all I know is two angles, so I can figure out the third one. It's not going to be very helpful. So from this one, I got to see what I can use. And notice they share this side. Again, anytime you see like triangles are sharing a side, it's a good hint that I might be interested in actually finding what that is.